Hello, everybody. Ella J here on behalf of WrestleZone, and today I am joined by one of your competitors in the 2026 PWA Coliseum tournament and a rising star on the Australian indie scene. Scott Green, how are you today?
I am living the dream today. How are you?
I am so good to be catching up with you, my friend. We obviously have wrestling in common. We also have Survivor in common. You have a lot of things coming up and a lot of things that just recently happened. So we'll chat all about it today. But I would be remiss if we didn't start with the amazing event coming up with PWA in a Cage coming up on Friday, March 6th at Sydney at 8 p.m. local time. You will be, of course, competing against someone who you're a little bit familiar with, Lockie McIntyre, in a rematch in the semifinals of the Coliseum tournament. Before we even get into that, we have to talk about this dumpster match, my friend, where
Ah.
Lockie unfortunately defeated you in it. But I have to imagine that it's not often that you get to step into a stipulation like that.
Oh no, and like it's the dream, isn't it? Like a dumpster match, casket match, those kind of steps is like what you grow up kind of watching, and like it's awesome and unique, and it poses new challenges and opportunities to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So being able to do that stipulation match, the dumpster match, like it was something that I just kind of always wanted to do, and I was so grateful that I did get to do it in the context of which we did it too. And I think it couldn't have gone any better, obviously. No, and that was a real dumpster too. That was the dumpster from the training from the Pro Wrestling Academy
My
that was just
God.
loaded on the truck in the morning. It was not cleaned, it stunk, it was dirty. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, I do hope that you took a good shower after that then.
I no
No.
showers at these venues. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get in the car with Jess after, and she was not. She made me sit in the
She's like,
back.
stay away, keep your
She made me sit in the.
distance.
She never drives, but she drove home that time because she was
Yeah.
like, "You're sitting in the back, and I'm driving, and you just stay back there."
Oh my God. I'm so curious. It's such a rare stipulation. How do you even prepare yourself, like physically and mentally for that?
You do a lot of like I started taking the bins out every week.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, to know your enemy is to become your enemy. So started taking the bins out. I was like visiting like the rubbish tips and just like looking around and taking
Mhm.
it all in.
Oh my God.
And yeah, you just do the thing. Wrestling is so you just do the thing, and it was like, you know, thankfully for myself, you can go back and watch every piece of wrestling ever. And if you
Yeah.
just go watch a casket match or an ambulance match or anything like that, that's how you can prep for those matches. But I was not prepared for Lockie McIntyre and the amount of money that dude has, obviously.
Yeah, he is one who isn't his day job, but he does have some experience in the ring. So obviously, I have to imagine you're looking for some revenge, especially going into the Coliseum tournament where the coveted sword is on the line. So coming off of this loss, obviously you're hoping for some revenge. But where else is your mindset like heading into Coliseum, the semifinals, by the way, not even the finals. You first have to get through Lockheed to get to the finals.
It's a different ball game. Like, hey, I was having fun at that dumpster match. It was PWA kick-ons. That's a fun
Yeah.
show. That's backlash. That's let's go out there and have some fun and entertain, But this is Coliseum now, and this is the part of Australian wrestling that I know is internationally recognized, and I know people have their eye on, and I know that everyone in Australia busts their backside to get to for their entire career. And I'm in it now. And you know what? It's a wrestling tournament at the end of the day. There's no outside interferences. There's no DQ. Like, Lockie's going to have to wrestle me at the end of the day, and he's not a wrestler. So it's a different ball game, and it's Coliseum, the single most important thing that happens in Australian wrestling every single year. There's nothing else that comes close to it. It's the pinnacle. It's the coup de grace. It's the finale. The winners of the Coliseum tournament. Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
Zack
Mick
Sabre
Ready,
Jr.
Zack
Also,
Sabre
yeah.
Jr., Robbie Eagles, Jess Troy, Grayson Waller,
Yeah.
the most elite wrestlers in the world, and certainly the most elite wrestlers come out of Australia. So to win that, just stamps you as at the very top of Australian wrestling, and that's where I've always wanted to be.
Yeah. Well, what would it like kind of leading into that, what would it mean for you to win the coveted sword and the tournament as a whole?
Everything. Like when I was 16 years old, you hear about the Coliseum, and then
Yeah.
you come up through the ranks and you see all the people. I'm getting tingles thinking about it, like, hey man, at the end of the day, we can say that this whole wrestling thing's fun and it's a bit of entertainment. But if you win that sword, you're on the level of those guys who've won it before. And those guys have been all over the world. Those guys are the best in the world. And if you are in that company, that's where you are too. And the whole world notices that. That's the thing about Australia. Not many people notice us over here. We're in a different time zone on the other side of the world. It's hard to get it. But
Yeah,
people notice the Coliseum tournament.
they
And that's the
do.
thing people talk about all over the world. And I want to be talked about all over the world more than I already am right now.
I guess talking about being talked about, I'm so curious, obviously in wrestling in general, we've seen celebrities come in, we've seen social media stars come in. Lockie McIntyre is obviously a big social media star. I'm curious if there's like a stigma in like as an everyday wrestler, you've been training, you've been grinding, you overcome a broken leg, you've traveled across the country, moved across the country. Is there a feeling of not maybe resentment or like a little bit of a you're like, ugh, when social media stars kind of come into or outsiders come into the indie scene?
Mm, no, no. Like, because I think it's such a old way to look at wrestling,
Yeah,
gatekeeping and being like, no, this is for us and only for us. And I don't understand why it's such an old head thing, because if you look back at WrestleMania 1,
right?
the thing that changed the game for the
Mr.
WWE,
T.
what was the
Yeah.
what was the main event? You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
celebrities came in, and that's what added legitimacy and made it pop culture. It wasn't professional wrestling anymore; it was pop culture. So I think bringing these people in only brings more eyes onto the product, and that at the end of the day, in Australia, that's what it's all about. Because we, for so long, I hear the horror stories of people performing in front of 30 people every single weekend to get to
Yeah.
where we are now. And if Lockie McIntyre is going to bring his 1 million followers over, or like a quarter of that over
Yeah.
to see the PWA
Yeah.
product,
Mhm.
hey man, if 250,000 people want to log into his social media to watch me kick his ass, great.
Yeah, absolutely. I just know that some people are still caught in that mindset. I feel like it's definitely more accepted. I feel like it's dependent on the celebrity too, because some celebrities just don't fit in. But Lockie is definitely fit in. He's proven himself. I feel like,
I've heard the stories. I live across the road from the Pro Wrestling Academy. I see his
yeah,
car there from time to time. I know he's there rocking up. He's not training with the rest of us. He's got
yeah,
money, so he's paying for those private lessons with the best of the best, which means he's excelling at
yeah.
wrestling very, very quickly.
Hmm.
And I'm not an idiot. I know the dude can do some stuff. I know he plays a bit dumb. Um, but bro, I've been doing this for a lot, lot longer.
Yeah.
So
So you got to kick
it,
some ass.
yeah, there is no chance that I'm losing to Lockie McIntyre in the Coliseum tournament. No shot. Not happening. I I'd have to burn my boots at that point. Like, there's
Big
no way.
statement.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I think, a dumpster match is something, but I feel like that loss has motivated you, it's fueled you. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. Um, I will say the card itself is super, super stacked. And we might not even have all the matches announced at this point. We obviously have yourself versus Lockie. We have the other semifinal match, Ben Braxton versus Robbie Thorpe. We have Big Fudge defending his newly won PWA heavyweight title against Aaron Jake. And of course, still cage match, Chevs versus Jessica Troy. I already know the answer to this. But other than your own, is there a particular match that you're looking most forward to?
Now you think I'm gonna say Jess and Jevs. Like you think that.
You should.
But you gotta understand that that's a cage, and that's two people that really want to hurt each other inside that
Yeah.
cage. And one of them just so happens to be my favorite person in the world. Like that's a tough watch, man. Like any way that you look at it, when you go into a wrestling match, you don't know if you're going to come out the other side okay.
True.
If you are in a cage, that doubles. And Jess is insane. She's crazy. She'll do insane things in that wrestling ring and in that cage. And like, obviously, go kill it, sister. But it makes you nervous. It's impossible not to make me nervous. Now I trust her and everything she does, but also she's nuts. So, but obviously, very much looking forward to that match. You know, you put Jess and Chebs in a ring, and in any context, it's never going to be bad. It's going to be a banger every single time. Just two people that know each other so intricate. I think Chebs may know Jess better than I know her.
Yeah.
And when you get that kind of chemistry in a ring together and put it on the stage, such as a PWA Black Label in a cage, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be, you know, a main event anywhere in the world.
They say it's once and for all. We'll see if that stands true. I feel like these two are just like wrestling soulmates, whether they're friends or enemies, they're gonna be fight. The chant "fight forever." That would be a pairing that I would chant "fight forever, forever."
It
Because
was made for them. Like,
yeah,
and everything that they've done together, it does feel like it's coming to a climax, and it does feel like it couldn't get any bigger than this. This is Avengers Endgame. You know, this is the penultimate. This is, I feel like, the last time that we may see Chevs and Jess wrestle each other.
mm, I hope it's not, but I understand if it is. They this has been going on. Well, the feud itself been about a year and a half. Um, I'm looking forward to that too. Also, Big Fudge, by the way. I chatted with him last month. This guy, his coming from his first match wrestling for the PWA Heavyweight Champion in his debut, losing and then winning it a decade later. What a story on that guy too.
Not a dry eye in the room, let me
Oh,
tell you. Like it was the one of the loudest reactions I've ever heard. And one of the producers of PWA, Jax Jordan, I live with him, funnily enough, and he was talking about it throughout the week. And he was like, "Oh man, if Fudge wins, it's going to be like we're all kids again watching wrestling, and our guy gets it." And he said, "I just want to see like two guys in there, just two grown adults just hugging if Big Fudge is able to get the win." And I shit you not. You go back and watch the footage, the hard cam footage right there on the three, the crowd goes ballistic, and there's two grown men with beers in their hands and they
yeah.
just embrace each other. And that's what it's all about. And to have that moment and to have Fudge, who I've been watching since I was a teenager,
Yeah.
uh, to see that moment for him, yeah, I know it meant a lot to him and it means a lot to PWA and the whole community.
Yeah. You talk about moments that bring you back to being a kid. I know you found wrestling young at the age of 6, which by the way, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, the GOATs, like what a match to see one of the first times. But if you think back to even younger Scott, what did your younger version envision the older version of yourself doing for a living when you got older? If you can
I'm
even
gonna back you.
recall that far. Okay.
I'm gonna back you up. You've done your research. If the first wrestling match I ever watched. That's
Yeah.
correct.
It's goated.
It is and I've watched it back and it's a fantastic match. But I I wanted to be Bob the Builder. I don't know. I For as long as I remember, I always
Yeah.
wanted to be a professional wrestler. There's nothing I ever
Hmm.
remember wanting to do before this, other than like being Spider-Man, I guess. Like,
Everyone wants to
yeah,
be a superhero. Yeah.
but and then like I have conversations now with people who are not in wrestling, and they're like, "Oh, I remember this childhood show that we used to watch." I was like, "No, I watch wrestling." And they're like, "Oh, do you remember this game we used to play?" I was, "No, I was playing with my action figures." Like, there was never a point in my childhood where I wasn't just obsessed with wrestling. At least it's pre my memory.
That's awesome. And now you're getting to live out your dream. And by the way, Had a full circle moment just a couple days ago at the time of recording this. You're busting your ass in front of Shawn Michaels at a WWE tryout over in the States. Congratulations on that. Obviously, results pending, but I have to imagine that it was kind of a cool full circle moment for you.
Oh, it was I can't even find the words. It was dreamlike. It felt at first it felt not real. And at times it felt not real, but you just bring yourself back in. And I think wrestlers are good at that because we do have some very unreal moments in our lives that we're a part of and seeing with our own eyes. It doesn't feel like it's there, but it is. Um, yeah, man, like it's all I've ever wanted since, as I said, I was 6 years old. Since I watched that first wrestling match with Shawn Michaels and John Cena, I couldn't even vocalize it when I was a kid. Like I want to be a wrestler. You just watch it and be obsessed with it. But
Yeah.
for as long as I could vocalize it, that's all I've ever wanted to do. And to sacrifice everything in my life, my future, my education, seeing my family, not watching my little sister grow up, saying no to the beers, to sacrifice all that to finally get the opportunity and for it to come full circle and to do my thing in front of the guy that I first watched do his thing in 2006. That's really, really special. And I wouldn't take any of it back. And for it to come around like that at this time in my life, I feel like it's just all the dots have connected. And to get that opportunity, I'm just so grateful for it. Really, like it was an amazing experience.
And to not only that, in front of, I mean, one of your first idols also alongside two of your good friends. I have to imagine that was kind of an added bonus.
And there's something to like, if you want to see your future, show me who you're hanging around with. And those two are the ones I've been hanging around with. And like, we have this little group with Grayson Waller and Jimmy Townsend, and we just talk about all those things I just spoke about, the sacrifices and what you have to do and how you need to get better and go. And we hold each other accountable and we just work our asses off every single day. We work harder than anyone. And like someone's going to hear that and go, no, you don't. No, you don't. And it's like, you don't understand how hard Australian wrestlers have to work just to get a sniff, just to get noticed, like just to get anything. It's so hard over here. We literally have to spend our life savings once a year for a trip over to a different country to maybe hopefully get booked on a show with 30 people. It's ridiculously difficult. And to have those boys with me through all the tough times and then to all be there in the best times together, oof, special stuff. And yeah, there was some really nice moments with myself and my friends there at that tryout that I'll I'll hold dear forever.
Yeah, we're talking about Ricky South and the Tuckman, of course.
Of course, I
Um,
did. Yeah,
no, you're good.
yeah,
Um, Also there was obviously Shawn Michaels was there. We saw Shayna Baszler, Kalani Jordan Bailey was there, Matt Bloom, Norman Smiley, I believe, was there. Could you tell us some of the things maybe you learned or took away from it that you're maybe going to apply to your own work going forward?
um, yeah. I I think something that I've taken away from that experience is that the little things and the little efforts is what makes the difference between good and great. And hey, man, we do this all every weekend and we're with our friends and we're having fun. Maybe there's only 30 people here tonight. Nah, that doesn't matter. It does. It all matters. Everything matters. And if as soon as you start putting the effort into those little things and pushing the boundaries of what professional wrestling can be because you put all the effort in, that's when you go from independent to WWE. When that's when you go to that next level, when you have those systems in place. Um, Obviously, a resounding amount of technical wrestling knowledge that I was obtained, and now, and one of the biggest things that they actually said to us was like, these aren't secrets. They kept saying it to us. They'd tell us advice and go, "Hey, this isn't a secret. Go out and spread the word. We want wrestling to be great. There's no gatekeeping in this. They want people to go out and share the knowledge that we received in essentially what was the best 3-day seminar of our lives. And I can't wait to get to the Pro Wrestling Academy and share what I've learned and try to help people get to that next level, because the more people in this country and the more people all over the world that just get better and better and better, wrestling will get better and better and better. And suddenly it's the most like elite sport in the world. And specifically for Australia, we're slept on so much, but we're trying to change that every single day.
I know.
And with what we've learned now and what we can take to the Pro Wrestling Academy and instill on maybe some of the young wrestlers, hopefully some things click, some cogs turn, and yeah, we can keep the ball rolling over here, because the talent we have in Australia is just mm.
I know. I've been shouting this like in every Australian interview I have. You guys are so talented, and I feel like it's slowly gaining traction, but on the grand scale, it's still such an underrated and underexposed scene. Ugh. It's
We're
like,
truly the land down under.
yeah,
You know,
that's a
we
good
have
way to
been
put it.
underestimated forever, but I can just I have this thing in the back of my neck. And I was on Survivor, bro, and you got to trust your gut instincts. And I got a little gut instinct in the last week. We had Coliseum, where we sold 500 tickets in 10 days. We had AEW Grand Slam, and we had Ring of Honor, where we saw Chevs and Tuckman and North Shore Wrestling all on the show and kill it and run amok. And you know what? They jumped on the show in a stadium on a promotion that they've never been on, and they were doing the duh, 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 duh. They were chanting the North Shore Wankers. The fan base is here. It's growing. It's getting bigger. You just
Mhm.
had 5 Australians attend a WWE tryout. You have Lena Cross just get picked up by
Yeah.
AEW. You got Zarya doing her thing in NXT, Waller, Rhea, Bronson. We have all these things up here. We have these people coming up now. And in the last week, there's been a change. I can feel it in my gut, in my stomach. We've been screaming from the rooftops for so long. Like, you will notice us. People are noticing, or at the very least, we're gonna just jam it down their throats and we're gonna make them notice.
I'm in full support of that. It's been really cool to see obviously a lot of them on the main stage, but obviously there's so many rising talents people don't even know about, and that's the beauty of PWA. Yes, maybe we won't be able to watch it live. It's at like 4 a.m. There's always replay though, which is I'm always grateful for because I always watch it on Friday or Saturday mornings depending on, depending on the day of the show. But it's been such a cool thing to see you guys blossoming recently. To quickly go back to that tryout experience though, we mentioned some of the names that were there, like a Shawn Michaels, a Shayna Baszler, a Bayley, so many coaches and talents. Was there a particular figure, whether it was a talent or a coach, that was the most influential on in your experience, you think, that you took the most from?
Ooh. Um. Now, all of those people that you just mentioned all had gold, absolute gold for everyone, and they had time for everyone, and the whole experience through the coaches couldn't have been any more positive. Everyone was so welcoming and so amazing, and had such great feedback and advice. But one person that wasn't mentioned by you, and I don't know if it's huge knowledge, but man, Josh Briggs, oh, when he talks, you can tell he loves professional wrestling. He loves everything about it. And when someone who's passionate like that starts talking about it, it gets you going too. And you just start and you just bounce off each other in that way. And I just, yeah. And that's not to say that everyone else wasn't passionate, because they were. And every time everyone spoke, it was the same thing. But Briggs very much helped me in many ways, and one of the ways was to get comfy in where I was because it's a big environment, it's a big place with a lot of big names around. But he kind of mellowed me out a little bit and got me to a place where I could perform at my best and show that passion that I have for professional wrestling.
You've talked about it before that you're one who kind of, and I'm the same way, where you overthink things and you try not to compare yourself to others, but you can't help but do it sometimes. That's definitely, I have to imagine, an experience that may be overwhelming, but you wouldn't have been invited if you weren't meant to be there, at the same time. So I kind of imagine maybe it was a personal growth experience for you too, as well.
I think everything from Survivor until now has been this
Yeah,
crazy experience. I think before I went on Survivor, I was very much in my head about comparing myself and getting in my head. And
yeah,
but then I went out on Survivor and I proved to myself that I have a lot more gas than I thought I did. I proved to
yeah,
myself that I can go. And then I come back and then opportunities start rolling. I wrestle Robbie Eagles. I'm in the Coliseum tournament. These opportunities are coming my way. And then a WWE tryout. And now it's like I'm less in my head than I've ever been. And it shows in most aspects of my life.
yeah,
Um, that's not to say I'm not. Everyone still gets in there,
of course.
And it, more than anything else, like imposter syndrome. It's like, how did I get here? You know, because
You
all
worked your
these
ass off,
amazing.
Scott.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? That didn't click in my head until I had a family member of mine. Um, Once I told them about the tryout, it was like, oh, haha, you want a manager? I'll be a manager. And I was like, I could have used a manager 7 years ago. I'm good now though. Thank you. And in my head, I'm like, far out 7 years ago. I've been going at this. So I just look, someone, David Storm, very famous Australian wrestler,
Yeah,
absolute goat. He said to me that something that's stuck in my head for to this day. It's like wrestling doesn't owe you anything. You know, wrestling does not owe you anything. Like you can give and give and give and give. If you get nothing back, that's life. And I firmly believe that. I firmly believe you are in wrestling and you do this because you love it. And if you expect a return, you might be disappointed. So, like Briggs, as I said before, like anyone else that I kind of associate with, you just give to wrestling. And funnily enough, when you just give, you do get things back. But you should never expect it
yeah.
because there's other nights where it's not like that at all. So
You take it as it goes, and nothing is linear. It's definitely a roller coaster ride, especially for a crazy thing called pro wrestling. Um,
ebbs and flows.
but I would be remiss. We didn't talk a little Survivor. I was talking with you off there. I am God, I've seen every season of the American season. I've also watched Survivor Australia versus the World. You will be competing, actually, you are competing on the 14th season Australian Survivor Redemption. You are not the first wrestler to go on there. You are, of course, Grayson Waller, I believe, was the first, and you're very close with him. So I have to imagine you might have leaned on him for some advice going out there ahead of time.
I was on his couch in Florida when I applied.
Wow. Okay, I need to hear this story. You can tell it.
I saw an ad on Facebook, and it was like literally the last day that you could apply. Actually,
Wow.
it was past the date you could apply, but not in America because America was the day before. So I cheated the system. And I just applied last minute. The next day, I got another call. And on my call, of course, I said I'm staying at a former player's house and did all that. And yeah, they loved it. And but as far as advice, because I actually, reached out to Grayson a couple of times, like, hey, what should I expect out here? And all he gave me was just be yourself, have fun, and be yourself. There is thousands of things he could have told me to help me. Like after doing the experience, I'm like, you could have told me about all this
Yeah, right?
BS, and I would have been prepared for it. But that's how Grayson is.
Hmm.
He knew that you're going to go out there and experience it anyway, and you'll learn on your feet. And at the end of the day, I can't hold your hand through it. And that's what kind of what Waller's all about. Like he's like, I'm not going to hold your hand through it. I can help you kind of feel yourself and get in the zone, and I can like advocate. But at the end of the day, it's going to be you. And he knew that it was just going to be me. And yeah, it wasn't until after the fact where I was like, that was ridiculous. He goes, yeah, I know, it's pretty bad, huh? So yeah, no, but yeah, he didn't give me any great advice because he knew it was just an experience that
Yeah.
I had to go and do myself. And
Yeah.
I'm glad it went that way, by the way.
Hmm.
I'm glad I went in kind of blind and he didn't give me the keys to the
Hmm.
castle.
Were you a big fan before, or was it just I'm hanging out with Grayson, I see an ad, I'm just gonna go on a whim and see what it was?
I have never watched Survivor.
Okay. I
I've never
appreciate
watched
the
it.
honesty.
Um, I but I've never watched reality television. In fact, like I
Oh,
just don't watch it.
got it.
That's not me trashing. Actually, I tell a lie. I now watch RuPaul's Drag Race because
As you
Jess.
should. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But yeah, reality TV is not my thing. Survivor. Oh, sorry, I did watch a little bit when, of course, Grayson was on it.
Yeah.
Um, but he wasn't there very long, was he? So it was a few episodes. But yeah, I went in totally blind. I had to read the rule book when I rocked up. I had to ask the rules quite a lot when I was there, um, which was actually advantage and
Yeah.
disadvantage too. Like because we of course have returning players,
Yes.
um, and if you're a fan of Survivor, these returning players they have a bit of aura. Ooh, we gotta watch out for these returning players. Me, I don't know who you are, bro.
You're not intimidated then.
I
Yeah,
will.
that's an advantage, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Although I did know Dirty Harry, of course,
Yeah.
as he is a former professional wrestler in Australia, and was on Matt's season, Grayson Waller's season. Actually eliminated Grayson Waller on that season, if I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome though. I feel like you really get the full experience and you don't have like many conceived notions or you're like, "Oh, I don't want to like make the same mistake so and so player did." I feel like it's kind of a fresh slate for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that opened me up to gameplay that people weren't expecting because
Hmm.
when you watch wrestling with a casual fan and they just say something like, "Why do they do that?" And you go, "I don't know." Like you don't even have an answer for it.
Yeah.
It's an angle of wrestling that you didn't look at in that
Hmm.
lens because you've just been accustomed to wrestling. I feel like there was a lot of players out there, and so I think some of my gameplay was quite unique in how I played. Maybe
Hmm.
simple, but simple can be best.
It can. Obviously no spoilers here, but after your experience, do you think any other wrestlers would be successful on Survivor?
Ooh, let me have a think. Um, oh, you know what? I think Sam Osborne
Mm.
might be pretty good at Survivor. Um, Look, I wrestled the guy. He's big, he's strong, he's tough, he's agile. Um, I'm reluctantly saying he's quite handsome, so that never hurts. And I think he'd just have a great social game. I think he's a great talker. Tuckman would be so bad at Survivor.
Hey,
He There's no way
that's
he'd be so bad. No, because he's too nice. He's too kind.
yeah, you gotta be at least a little bit cutthroat. I get it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do. Like, and I think that's a thing between me and Tuck. It's like
Mm.
I'll pull the trigger before he does.
Hmm.
He can be too kind.
Hmm.
Nothing.
Do you think Jess would fare well?
No, we've talked about this quite a bit.
Okay.
So in her words, not mine, by the way. Um, I hate making new friends. Ill what you had to sleep outside.
Valid.
Um, yeah, yeah. Um, she said the only thing that wouldn't bother her is the food. She's okay with rice and beans. But she said everything else sucks.
I don't so obviously, I don't know if it's filmed in Samoa every year, but I have to imagine there's probably some critters or creatures too that are probably scary or like creepy as so that might be another thing. And then again, you're from Australia, so like I don't know like what's like creepy crawly to you guys.
Oh. Nah, there was some nights with some crabs that I'd rather forget.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
only
Sleeping,
imagine.
but you're just sleeping, and then crab on your face, and you wake up, and that's how you wake up. And then you
Yeah.
look around, and there's just like dozens of crabs crawling around you, and you're like,
Oh my God.
oh, this sucks.
I mean, that's your food too. Anyways, but
No,
yeah,
because they were
no.
like, we tried, but they were like this bit. Like the effort wasn't even, you
Oh,
spend more
okay.
calories than it took when you'd
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah. Well, fair. Oh, and then you just wake up and they're like on you or like hopefully not like pinching you. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Well, you survived.
maggots,
Ew.
maggots.
Now those I could not do. I could not do maggots. No, no,
There is
thank you.
a, yeah, there is, yeah. There's some maggots around in Samoa.
Well, good to know. I know that I will maybe not be going to Samoa. Not that I'd ever thought about it. Um, but thank you for this enlightening information. I
Don't
appreciate
get it
it.
twisted. Samoa in itself and the people of
Yeah.
Samoa are
Yeah.
stunning. It's beautiful. And you know what?
Yeah.
The Samoan people love Samoa so much. And
Hmm.
nothing gets me behind a country more than patriotism and loving the environment that you have.
Yeah.
And the Samoans, rightfully so, love their beautiful country.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have to stay tuned for that. As of the time of recording this, I believe episode 2 is going to be coming out in a few hours. Um,
Couple hours, yes.
Couple hours from now. Um, Two more questions for you. We mentioned Jessica. You know, she's one she's been in the game for over a decade now, for a hot minute now. I have to imagine that you've learned so much from not only being around her, but working with her. What are some things personally or professionally that you've learned from her just from being around her?
I've learnt to accept help from Jessica. She's a very hopeful person. And I feel like
Yes.
it's something I've always struggled with. But in denying someone's want to help you, you're denying them being affectionate towards you and denying that kind of that hey, I care about you, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that goes in all aspects of life, you know what I mean? Um yeah, I've learned that you can't, it takes a village. You can't do it on your own. You need to lean on other people. You can't just be headstrong and send it by yourself. You'll burn out so quick. Um I've learned not to worry about the things that I can't control or compare to things that just make no sense. Like, I'll see someone on NXT and they're like 22. I'm like, god damn, it's just that's completely different. That's completely different. If they were born where you were born, they'd be in your position. Like that, it's just like a that's their life. You're living your
Yeah.
own. You're on your own thing. Um, from a like a technical professional wrestling standpoint, Jessica views me as the most perfect wrestler that's ever existed. So I've never I will never get feedback from her. I'll never get critique from her. Um, which sucks because it would be very helpful because she's a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah.
But more on the personal side of things, she's been invaluable to me. And funnily enough, I say hasn't critiqued on my wrestling, but I think personal and wrestling, you can see when someone's in their bag in their personal life when they're in the
Yeah.
ring. You
Yeah.
can see it. And I think, yeah, I think I'm in my bag.
That confidence, Scott. Keep that up. We love to see it.
Yes, man. I'm rolling right now.
You
Like,
are.
man, I let's always remain humble.
Of
Let's not
course.
forget
Of
that.
course. Of course.
All right. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I've gotten. But I'm getting them. I just did a WWE tryout. I'm currently in PWA's Coliseum. I am traveling the world. I am running a generational muck. I'm at some of the top promotions in this country in the era where wrestling has been its hottest. and the dropouts have been there on its rise from the after post COVID era to now. And I think you can, and I'm not saying, hang on, I don't want to get this twisted. I'm not saying the rise of the dropouts influenced the rise in Australian wrestling that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the dropouts have ridden that wave of Australian wrestling with it all the way through. And now we're at the top in many different promotions in the hottest time in Australian professional wrestling history.
I do have to point out too, it also wasn't too long ago. Maybe it was foreshadowing. We'll have to see. But you got that Grayson Waller rub. He said once you guys were over to the USA, you guys would be signed immediately. Obviously TBD. But I have to imagine that that was a pretty cool thing of him to do.
I don't have enough nice words for Grayson Waller. He, what he has done for me and Tark and many others, I don't think I'll ever be able to pay back. But, and he has said this to me and Tark many a times. He said, you don't have to pay me back, you have to pay it forward.
Yeah.
These are the things that I can do for you now. And hey, you might not be able to give back to me, but you can give back to someone else. And that's special, bro, because that's how you. And he's not doing it for any other reason that he just wants Australian wrestling to be better because he knows how good we are over here. But like, he's changed the game on so many levels and instilling that culture within the wrestling community in Australia. It that's that is what has led to the rise of popularity in Australian wrestling. And I think eliminating that tall poppy syndrome and just everyone helping each other out and there's team effort, it's only going to help everyone. Jason Waller has changed the game because he has given to us so much and we'll never be able to give it back, but we can pay it forward. And then you know what? Who we pay it forward to, we'll pay it forward. And then we are rolling and Australian wrestling is rising.
Yeah. Final question. You're riding this wave of momentum. You mentioned obviously an imminent goal, short-term goal is to win Coliseum, but beyond that, what are your personal and professional goals for 2026?
I have a lot of things happening right now.
Do.
I'm on national television. I did a WWE tryout. I am rolling around Australia as one of the up and coming guys here. My biggest goals for the rest of 2026 is to not count my chickens, to stay hungry, to keep working because the job is never finished, ever, to remain grateful for the opportunities that come my way and be okay with the ones that don't. And to just have fun. Those are my goals for 2026, to just work my ass off, have fun, and remain humble and grateful any which way this year turns out.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good mindset to have. You obviously want to achieve all the stuff but you want to enjoy the moment as well.
And I can be bad at that. I can be bad at that when
Same.
I'm front rolling in front of Shawn Michaels 24 or 48 hours ago and now I'm logged into
Yeah.
work, you know what I mean? Typing away on my little admin. Like,
Yeah.
it can be difficult. But
Mhm.
I think remaining humble in those moments, being grateful for the opportunities that came your way, and just having fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big opportunity flying to the States all the way from Australia. Definitely one for the books, my friend. Before we let you go, though, please let the listeners know where they can find you online and support you.
Please go and check out my Instagram at scott.green underscore underscore. My Twitter is scott.greenpw. Ugh, I was like 18 when I made these. um, And go check us out on TikTok, the dropouts. It's the dropouts underscore underscore. If you like content that is inspiring, a little bit funny, survivor content, wrestling content, or if you just want to hear me keep chatting about gratitudes and having fun and prayers, poems, and prescriptions, I'm your guy.
And dancing a little bit too.
Oh, so much dancing. Like, if you don't like the dance that we did, if you don't like
Bailey
that,
did
don't.
it.
Bailey did it on Raw.
She
Bailey did it when
did.
she said hello to us at the tryout.
Mm.
Um, yes. Well, we're collecting quite a number of names who have done the dagger. Now it's getting quite popular, which is very fun. I believe we had Carl Fletcher doing it at the PWA show as well. So
Mhm.
collecting the daggers, bringing them all in.
Want the dagger? You also want the PWA Coliseum sword. Don't forget to check out PWA in a Cage coming up on Friday, March 6th in Sydney. For people in the States, it's about 4 a.m. here, but you know what? The beautiful thing is PWA normally streams their stuff on YouTube, so you can watch it when you wake up, like I'm going to do. In the meantime, Scott, thank you so much for joining me here today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.